Hi everybody, this is SC Closer. My friends call me Vic. This is going to be episode 5 of Vic's Sea Tales and Sea Stories and Tall Tales. This is a story, I guess you'd say, about superstition. There's a certain amount of superstition in the Navy, and I'm going to tell you about a area on the USS Tripoli that was just cursed. It was a bad luck area. I'm going to give you 3 incidences why it's a bad luck area. The day I reported on board USS Tripoli, it was sometime July 1986. And we came on board the ship, and it was me and I think one of the other guys that I left Great Lakes with. He was there at the same time. We came on board at the same time. I don't remember exactly who it was. I think it might have been Mike. But anyway, we came on board. And we reported, had our orders and stuff. They said, okay, we'll get the duty electrician up here. So anyhow, I think it might have been a second class came up, welcomed us on the ship, said, yeah, come on, I'm going to take you over to the shop. So the shop was in the hangar bay, so it was right over from the quarterdeck. We go in there, and there was a senior chief in there, and there was a warrant officer in there, and there was different people. And we met everybody, and they introduced themselves to us. Right then, the senior chief's told us, the supply petty officer said, okay, take them down to the berth and show them where the racks are, get them some coveralls. You guys need to get dressed and come back down here right away. He says, we got a situation going on. We need your help right now. We said, okay. So we go down, we find our racks, and they come down, they give us some coveralls, and we change real quick. We run back up to the shop. And they take us down to the number 1 emergency diesel generator room. This is on a forward part of the ship. It seems that a saltwater line had ruptured up there a few hours before we got there, and it had flooded that space, and it had flooded the generator, and it was full of salt water. This is the emergency generator. So we were up there. They had already dewatered the compartment, and we were up there trying to get the water out of the generator, and we were flushing it with fresh water, and then we were sucking it back out, and we were trying to get all the salt out of it. This evolution took several days, and once we got all the salt flushed out of it, then we started trying to dry it. And we would be up there during the day with heat guns, and at nighttime we ran the dress ship lights inside the windings, and we put 100-watt bulbs in it so that the heat would cause the water to evaporate. And this went on for a couple of weeks, and we would check readings on it once in a while, the insulation readings, and there was a spec we had to make. I think it was 2 megs, and once it came up to 2 megs, it was in spec again. And after a couple of weeks, we got it up to 2 megs. So then we decided to test it, and we tested it, and it worked. We won the self-sufficient ship of the month award. They said we saved the Navy over $90,000 at that time. They would have had to cut a big hole in the side of the ship, run up there with a barge and a crane and rig that out to take it over to the shop to redo it. Back in those days, if we thought we could fix it on ourselves on the ship, we would never send it out to SEMA to be repaired, because it was a matter of pride. And the guys I worked with on this ship were really good, and they were really proud of their work. And we would have never sent that out unless there was nothing we could have done. We would have tried, and we did, and we fixed it. About a year or 2 later, up around that same bulkhead, I think it was on the other side of that bulkhead, there was a paint locker. That same saltwater line ruptured and flooded that paint locker, flooded it solid. So that was another casualty type of situation. Nobody got hurt, but that wasn't very good either. I got off the ship. I left August of 1989, and the ship went over to the Persian Gulf in 1990 or whenever that was, when the Persian Gulf War started. Now, I wasn't on it anymore, but I had friends that were on it. And the USS Tripoli was in the Persian Gulf, and one part of what they were doing over there was mine sweeping operations. And while they were sweeping for mines in the Persian Gulf, they hit a mine, and the mine exploded around number 2 pump room. And number 2 pump room was underneath where the diesel generator room was, and over there by that paint locker. So that they had a mine explosion there, and all that area up there flooded again. Now, you can call me superstitious if you want, but I'm telling you, that area of the ship was cursed.